Are you truly free? Hold that thought for a moment. Before we proceed, I would like to say good morning to everyone. My name is Chris Paulo from Tribes Christian Church. In our short devotional study for today, we aim for you to answer that age-old question with faith and hope in God's promises. Let's start with our passage, spoken by Jesus in the Gospel according to John chapter 8, verse 36. Let me read for everyone. Therefore, if the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed. When Jesus spoke these words, he was actually talking to the Jews who started to believe in him. He exhorted them that by abiding in his word, they will prove to be his true disciples, and that by doing so, they shall know the truth that will set them free. Now, this statement from Jesus brought out indignation to his Jewish followers, and they said to Jesus, "We are Abraham's descendants and have never been in bondage to anyone. How can you say you will be made free?" In John's written account, Jesus did not even bother to remind them of their false statement when they said that they have never been in bondage to anyone. Surely they have not forgotten that their ancestors were slaves in Egypt for 400 years. They were also exiled under the Assyrian Empire, were held captives in Babylon, and were also ruled by the Persians, the Greeks, and finally the Romans, to whom they were ruling Jerusalem at that time and to whom they paid taxes to. Instead of refuting them in their claim, Jesus made a general statement that applies to each and every one of us. He said, "Most assuredly I say to you, whoever commits sin is a slave to sin. And a slave does not abide in the house forever, but the Son abides forever. Therefore, if the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed." Much like the Jewish followers of Jesus, we too are sometimes in denial of our current condition. You see, there is 100% probability that you and I will die. And the Holy Bible says that it is appointed for people to die once, and after that, to face the judgment. Now, with this in mind, it makes perfect sense when Jesus said that those who continue to be slaves to sin are indeed not free. For God will judge righteously those who have refused to honor Him and His commandments in this life. We have not obeyed the most important commandments of God. Aside from this, we have also amassed a growing number of slave masters. Whether in the past or in the current age of social media, humankind has been enslaved by many fears and addictions. Many are enslaved by the lust for power, money, and selfish ambitions. There are those that are enslaved by their addictions to drugs, alcohol, and sex, including pornography. The long hours spent on browsing, checking how many likes, views, and followers are just symptoms of one's enslavement on the need for affirmation and approval. Many are enslaved by the want of control and refuse to submit the will to the sovereignty of God. Many are not free from the outburst of anger, envy, and unforgiveness. And still, many are enslaved by the many worries, anxieties, the fear of death, and the want for security, insurance, etc., and have not entrusted their lives to God instead. Knowing that these are true for all of us, we are not free from the constant nagging of guilt and condemnation. Some people who find these conditions unbearable run into an even greater error, making their conditions even worse. Realizing this, indeed, how miserable persons we are because of our sins. But in spite of this and what we deserve for ignoring and sinning against the goodness of God who gave us life, He still looked at us with much love and mercy. Because He is a righteous God, sin must be punished. But the good news is that because of His love, He sent His very own Son to save us from our sins. Jesus Christ lived a holy life, but He suffered and died in place of those who will put their faith in Him. My friends, true freedom then is not doing whatever you want, but by being free to do what is right with joy despite the odds. Those who are truly free are those that are set free by the Son of God. Let us entrust to Jesus everything, your needs, your worries, and even any earthly glories. Place them at the feet of Him who is able to do immeasurably more than what we ask or imagine. May we be proven to be true disciples of Jesus Christ, and by abiding in His Word, May He use our lives as well to lead others so that they will be free as well. Remember that if the Son of God makes you free, you shall be free indeed. God bless you and your whole family.